Hey everybody, this is Joseph Pasek, and welcome to the On the Map show here on the Fired Up Network, and welcome back to the Hall of Fame. Yes, you know what? I say it all the time. Referee Jimmy KORDERS as we preview the Survivor Series. And I think, Jimmy, correct me if I'm wrong, but the Survivor Series, other than WrestleMania, is the second longest pay-per-view or premier live event of WWE.
I believe you're right. I'm not the master historian that some others are, but I know that it began in 1987
Yes.
because I was actually a referee at the very first ever Survivor Series.
And it was in Richfield Coliseum, right, in Cleveland.
Yeah, the mistake by the lake. Yes.
Yeah. Well, no, that was exhibitions. Never mind. But that's it. 87. I think SummerSlam was 88, right?
Yes, yep.
And
And I
well,
think the Rumble in
was
Hamilton
90.
was in 88, I believe, if
Yeah,
I'm not mistaken. So,
I think 89 and 90 started the official Royal Rumble. But anyways,
right.
I digress here. And this one, to my knowledge, there hasn't been a Survivor Series outdoor, right?
Um, wow. You stumped me on that one.
I think
Outdoors,
I'm right.
I
This
don't think so. I think you're right. I don't think that there was ever an outdoor version of the Survivor Series.
because
But I know if we're
Survivor.
wrong, somebody will definitely correct us. It's okay.
Yeah, that's right. But I don't think we're wrong because Survivor Series traditionally November, end of November, they tend to Chicago's Midwest and last year was Vancouver but they stay to the eastern part where the snow, cold, and all that. So I believe this is the first outdoor at Petco Park in San Diego. Should be interesting to see how
Mhm.
many people they get, and should be interesting to see what they do if there's wind, if there's anything, because we have two war games coming up, two steel cages. So, they got to spread the ring there, two rings, and with the enclosed covering, should be interesting to see what they do with, Survivor Series this year.
Yeah, it is going to be interesting. I know it recently AEW did their Blood and Guts and
Yeah.
similar format. Um, little different presentation. I think the War Games matches aren't going to be as heavily reliant on objects
Why?
and that sort of
Why?
thing. If you do see it, you probably will get some because
Yeah.
it is a cage structure and stuff happens, and you may get a little
But I don't
hard
think we're
way.
going to see it in ladies' matches. Put it in
Uh,
ladies' match.
well, unless somebody gets a stiff one to the nose or something like that.
So you're saying Rhea Ripley's going to have you never come. She comes in with a broken nose. So
Right.
let's let's talk about the matches here. We'll start off with the women's world championship. And honestly, Jimmy, you tell me, did they do an awful job promoting? This is the last Raw before the Survivor Series. Stephanie McMahon against Nikki Bella. Tell me, where was the promotion on Raw?
Allegedly, it was the video package that they showed of Stephanie McCure. Definitely not enough for me. Definitely not enough because this match really got set up basically 2 weeks ago, if that,
Yep.
when Nikki Bella kind of turned for whatever reason it was. It seemed to come out of nowhere and didn't really have any roots in it. And I think it was just a matter of, okay, let's turn her heel. It almost felt like John Cena turning babyface again. Yeah, you know what? I don't feel like being a heel anymore. I'm just going to be a babyface. Thank you very much. And that's how it felt with Nikki. But you're right. You're right, Joe. This one didn't get the build it needed because when you start thinking about the matches on this Saturday's Survivor Series, nobody talks about this one. And that's not good, especially when you only have 4 matches. I mean, it's not hard.
No, it isn't hard. And here's the other thing. Okay, Nikki Bella, big star coming back. Stephanie has been great. They're doing a better job promoting. Well, here's the promotion, Jimmy. You ready? Check out Huge Pop Radio for an exclusive interview with who, Jimmy?
Maxine Dupree.
Intercontinental champion, and they did a better job of promoting that vignette for like 30 seconds. Did a better job than the ladies' world title. Put it that way. Okay, that's all
Yeah,
I'm saying.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree.
All right, so we got the next match, and who are you calling in this one? First of all, before we leave it.
I think Stephanie Vaquer is still a work in progress. I think too soon to relieve her of the women's championship. Nikki Bella, I think we'll get a strong match. I think the match will be fine. That's not the issue here. The issue is will the interest be there? But I'm picking the champ to retain.
All right, I agree. Intercontinental title, John Cena. You can't see him, or you'll see him against San Diego's own. Yes, San Diego's own Dominic Mysterio. Does Dominic reclaim the Intercontinental Championship?
Yes. I'm not going to cut to the chase here. I am going to cut to the chase. Dominic Mysterio recaptures the Intercontinental Championship. He gets his win back over John Cena. It doesn't, even if John Cena were to retain in this situation, it doesn't matter. Dom is a made man already.
Yep.
3 of the last 4 matches involving John Cena, Dominic Mysterio is a part of that. That speaks volumes for what they think of Dom Mysterio. And this win, getting his win back, will put him over the moon. People don't want to see it. They still love John Cena, especially considering they're still working on who John Cena's final opponent is going to be in Washington at Saturday night's main event. There's a lot of discussion, a lot of people upset. Oh, it's going to be Gunther. Why? I like the idea. I wasn't sold on it at first, but now I'm starting to get more sold on the Gunther being his final opponent. I don't want to get off track on the Dom thing because I've already picked him. I think he's going to reclaim the championship. But here's the thing with Gunther, the story that they can tell. And that's what it's all about, telling stories down the road. The story they could tell with Gunther is
he wants to pass the torch, right? So
right. That, you know what? John Cena is that guy. I'm 100% positive that John Cena wants to do the honors for somebody. And Gunther, people will say Gunther doesn't need it, but if you want to look further down the line, Gunther is already saying he retired Bill Goldberg.
Yeah.
In John Cena's last match, he retired John Cena. In 2026, someone else said that that's their final year and they're retiring. Who would that be?
Well,
AJ Styles.
It's Jericho, right? Or AJ Styles.
Yeah. AJ Styles. See, there's names out there, and Gunther could become the man, the one who retires legends and icons.
But we had a legend killer and nowhere to be found.
Well, you never know. He might pop up out of nowhere. You might see an RKO out of nowhere.
I RKO'd out of nowhere. But here's the other thing that I want to touch on, Dominic and John Cena's final opponent. If Dominic wins, and I agree with you, I believe he's going to win, isn't that anticlimactic that they have John Cena in his last match against somebody who may not beat him or who may beat him, but Dominic again beats him, and John Cena's like 2-0 against Dominic. Now he's going to be 2-1. Shouldn't there be a 4th match?
I guess you could make that claim, but now that you've got the tournament going, the only way you can get around that is with the injury to Penta. So there's a mystery opponent somewhere because of Sheamus' injury.
Yeah, but I'll tell you after who that mystery opponent is.
Well, but that being said, what if Dominic Mysterio fails in his attempt at Survivor Series and he gets inserted in that slot? Now you have someone who might face John Cena in the last match, do the honors, and Dominic gets the title back. There's a lot of avenues here. There's a lot of roads.
Yeah, and in San Diego, let's face it, Dominic is wrestling in WWE, SmackDown, Raw, NXT. Then he's traveling to AAA there, and he's a champion, a mega champion. So they're using Dominic well, and they're using him like this guy never has a break. He needs a haircut though. But anyways,
that's a different story. I can't. I'm not one to talk about hair.
Yeah, well, I am. Let's get to the women's War Game match. AJ Lee, Rhea Ripley, Io Sky, Alexa, and Charlotte Flair versus Becky Lynch, Nia Jax, Lash Legend, Asuka, and Kairi Singh here. It's all tied up where Charlotte, Rhea are friends, are not friends. They are friends. What about Alexa Bliss, who, started all this with saying, Charlotte, come on, don't be like that. And maybe Alexa Bliss turns. Who knows? Who's your pick here?
I'm going to go with the heel faction here, the heel side. I think Becky Lynch is going to play a factor, but I may change my pick now that I'm thinking about it because who is the referee going to be for this women's match? If
It's
it's
got to be
Jessica
only
Carr,
yes.
then we've got another story involved here because she's had her issues with Becky Lynch. Now, maybe she might get involved with Becky Lynch getting eliminated from the match, but doesn't mean that the heels won't go over. I'm kind of looking, dreaming, fantasizing about a reunion of the Four Horsewomen.
Where
That
was
I
the
think would be kind of cool. So if Charlotte were to turn here and go to Becky and say, Becky, I understand where you're coming from. I'm tired of all these youngins coming in here and trying to. We're still we might be the old guard, but we're still the ones running the place, or something like that. And then somehow Bailey comes and joins the fold, and then we start that reunion kind of thing. I don't know, but either way, I'm still going with the team of the Kabuki Warriors and Becky Lynch and Nia Jackson, Lash Legend. Lash Legend is surprising. I don't understand why she doesn't get a little more of a reaction. But
well, I
you know
think they're
what?
going to meet
Still,
her on Saturday. I
yeah,
think she's going to get
there's
a big,
time.
big push.
Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely.
I believe she's going to get a big push. Now, the men's War Game match, Roman Reigns, CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, Jay and Jimmy Uso versus Brock Lesnar, who slipped on Raw, Drew McIntyre, Logan Paul, Braun Breaker, and Bronson Reed. Who you get in this one? An interesting thing, Paul Heyman, he's going to get involved here. And what they did on Raw is like, obviously, we know it's going to be the main event of WrestleMania. Roman Reigns, either against Cody Rhodes or against CM Punk. I believe it's not going to be against Cody Rhodes this time because last year and the year before, I believe it's going to be against CM Punk. But the interesting thing is, are they going to play up again with Paul Heyman, and if that match takes place?
That's the interesting thing. Who does he side with? Because Paul Heyman is technically a Brock Lesnar guy. Paul Heyman is a CM Punk guy. Paul Heyman is somewhat of a Cody guy, but he's not like officially a Cody guy. But you know what I mean. He's a Seth Rollins guy now. So he's all over the map. Paul Heyman aligns himself with who he thinks could bring it further next. But the other thing about Paul Heyman does well is he elevates talent. Everybody's got around him, because you look at guys like Braun Breaker, who's starting to come out of his shell more. Even Bronson Reed, we're seeing a little bit more personality from him, as opposed to just being the guy who hits people with 7 tsunamis.
That's right.
There's a bunch of story arcs here. What we saw on the Go Home show, the Raw Go Home show for Survivor Series, is CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, and Roman Reigns. The I don't like you, we're only working together to face common enemies kind of thing. It's an old story. People might say it's cliche, but at the same time, they're planting seeds for the future. WWE doesn't do anything by accident. This is all mapped and strategized for the future. And again, I might have to, looking at this, I might have to go with the heel team here. You look
one
at them.
heel team's going to win, and the other side, one face team's going to win. It's either men face and ladies heel team. I can't picture two heels winning.
I know that, but at the same time, when you look at it, you can make a case either way. I mean, like, obviously, you can have that feel good moment where the baby faces go over, and that's your shot going off the air at the end. But at the same time, there's just so much more story there. You got, again, Drew McIntyre is the wild card here. People are forgetting about that.
Well, you know what? And I'm going to tell you, the guy who's going to take the most bumps and going to be spectacular in this match, you know who I'm going with? Logan Paul. This guy doesn't get enough credit. For a guy who's a year, 2 years in the industry, look what he does. He's like incredible.
He's a freak of nature. And for those people who say, well, he's a part-timer, you know how much time he puts in the ring to get better? And not only that, he doesn't do it and think he knows it all. No. He's a guy who's still learning, and he understands that, and he asks questions. And there's a difference between doing moves and being good technically in the ring and being a good worker. Logan Paul is a very, very good worker. There's a difference. People don't understand that.
Well, those are the matches, but I'm going to ask you one question here because Survivor Series, like we talked about, arguably the second biggest pay-per-view of the year,
Mhm.
premier live event. Rey Mysterio, his hometown, he's not booked. Jade Cargill is not booked there. Maxime Dupree, she has the title now also. Where's going LA Knight since they're hyping up LA Knight? Yeah, all the time. He's not booked. So there's lots of intrigue in this. Where are they going? And, talk about, Roman Reigns, Jimmy and Jay. Jimmy, Jay, they're, nobody knows what's going on there, right? So, but there's a lot of stuff happening that's not even on the show. Do you think, and we're doing this earlier on before even SmackDown, do you think they're going to add one or two more matches?
If anything, I could see them adding one because the 2 War Games matches will be lengthy.
Yes.
They always are, and this one definitely will too, because you have to factor in all the entrances, not just the bell to bell. The bell to bell starts from the first music hitting. You know what I mean? So that takes up a lot of time. And with their pay-per-view model, usually 5 matches, so they might squeeze one more in. And if it is, that's the question. Which one is it? Do you put the Jade Cargill on there? I think maybe Rey Mysterio will make an appearance during the Intercontinental Championship match. How he has an effect there, we'll see. But I could see another women's championship match, maybe with Jade. Maybe, yeah.
Well, that's and here's the interesting thing: the next PLE is in Saudi Arabia, Royal Rumble, and then next one is in Chicago, Elimination Chamber. We already speculated that CM Punk's probably going to take on Roman Reigns, or maybe it's a 3-way: CM Punk, Roman Reigns, and Cody. Right? So, who do you think? I know it's too early, but since it's in Saudi, since it's the Royal Rumble, who do you think goes over? Because that man who goes over is going to face a champion at WrestleMania, presumably.
I mean, there's a lot of choices. I know the Royal Rumble, sometimes we get surprises. It's going to be harder to surprise people to get your surprise over there to Saudi Arabia. People are talking Chris Jericho. I'd like to see Jericho in the match because I'd like to see him make his entrance with the original format from when he first debuted in WWE with that countdown clock.
Yeah.
And with the break the walls down and then go into Judas. That for me would be the ultimate Chris Jericho return moment. Do I see him winning it? Maybe not. There's other plans for him. I think Logan Paul. I'm picking Logan Paul to win the Royal Rumble this year.
Well, since it's in Saudi, come on, Sami Zayn's not even on the card at Survivor Series, and there was some talk about 4 or 5 months ago that he may win the Royal Rumble and then give him a main event spot. And who knows about Kevin Owens also? I don't know if Kevin Owens is going to come back. I don't know. Like, there's so many, because this is traditionally the start of, like they say, the run to WrestleMania, Survivor. And usually every year there's a hint. Okay, we know that match is going to take place. So it could happen this Saturday at Petco Park where they sort of plant the seed for WrestleMania and for Royal Rumble. But Royal Rumble is going to be very, very different this year. I'm going to say that. Put it that way. It's going to be, and probably 1 o'clock also, right? It's not going to be in the night. So,
you know what? I don't mind that one bit because it leaves your evenings open to go do whatever you want to do. Go out, have a dinner, go out, see a movie. I don't know if people even do that anymore. Do you go? Are there movie date nights anymore?
We stream it, right? Everybody's streaming.
I know.
Look, I'm the king of streaming here. Come on.
When you're paying $35 for a bucket of popcorn, no wonder nobody goes.
Nobody goes. And don't forget, December 27th, with AEW's pay-per-view, also about 6 hours, 2 days after Christmas. So you're going to relax. Everybody should enjoy the holiday season, Thanksgiving, and then Christmas and all that. And if stay at home, relax for 6.5 hours of AEW's last pay-per-view, where Samoa Joe now is the champion. Last word, AEW, what did you think of their pay-per-view?
No, I like Samoa Joe as champion. Their pay-per-view Full Gear, there was stuff about it I liked. There was stuff about it that I didn't like so much. Uh, I enjoyed the match with Pac and Darby Allin because they had an actual pretty much a wrestling
Yeah.
match and not a. I was expecting a lot of weapons in that one and fighting outside and going through table. Didn't happen. And the and for me the distraction spot on the finish,
Yep.
they did it. They did it right. Quick distraction, one shot with the bat. That's it. You didn't have to go overboard with an overbooked finish. I thought it was done really well. I enjoyed the cage match with Joe and Hangman. I thought Joe controlled that match. He was the general there, told a great story, and they did what the cage match is intended to do. The cage is the weapon.
Yeah.
You don't have to introduce all this other gaga into the match. The cage is what you're going to use to try to incapacitate your opponent, to do harm, to get blood, whatever the case may be. And they did exactly that. My only issue at the end was Joe's win and Hook's turn was overshadowed by Swerve's return.
Well,
and as much as I like Swerve and I think he's the guy, he can be the guy for AEW, should have saved that moment for Wednesday night, not that night. Let them have their moment, because now it's more of an impact with Swerve returning in front of their largest audience. Their largest audience, the most eyes on their product are on Wednesday nights.
Yep.
So maybe that should have been saved for that moment and let everything else breathe. That's the problem some of the booking has there. They don't allow things to breathe. They don't allow their audience to absorb. Everything is go, 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 go. You got to, okay, match over, got to get the next match in the ring. Let's go, let's go, let's go. But overall, like I said, it was okay. I was entertained for a lot of it, but some stuff just made me scratch my head.
And I finally figured out what they're doing with Mercedes Moné. I have finally figured out what they're doing. And
if you did, please tell me.
All right. So here it is. She's going to win 75 belts, but she's going to give them all away because she keeps on failing to win the biggest belt there is. Well, AEW ladies title. So, and you watch her fail again. And then she'll, like that's it. I got to concentrate on winning this belt. I can't win that. She'll give up every belt. I'm telling you, she's going to concentrate. And they could play this out for 6 months. That's what they're going to do with Mercedes Moné.
Yeah, the only problem for me is if she gives back the titles because she's upset that she can't win the big one and thinks that those are a distraction. It does nothing for those companies that she took.
But hasn't done anything for the companies now.
That's true. That's true.
So it's like, whatever. You're a belt collector. You have 20 belts. What has it done?
Well, if anybody out there, other than the super diehards, can name 3 of those belts, I'd be surprised.
The living room belt, the washroom belt, and the kitchen belt.
Oh, you forgot the basement belt.
Basement belt. There you go. All right. So tell everybody about Huge Pop, and you got a huge pop and huge show this week. Jimmy, go ahead.
Absolutely. This week on Huge Pop, Donnie and I got the chance to have a chat with the new Women's Intercontinental Champion, Maxine Dupree, and it was, unfortunately, we recorded that right before she won the championship. So she was not Intercontinental Champ at that time, but it's still a wonderful interview. Maxine is great. A lot of insight into her. It was one of those deals where you wish you had more time, but you know how it works.
And did she call Natalia while you were on doing the interview, or like?
Oh, no.
That call's going to take a week.
If we had a little more time, we probably would have got her to call.
All right, so check out Huge Pop. We're carrying it on the Fired Up Network. Enjoy the Survivor Series, everybody. And Jimmy will be back sometime in December. We got the NXT pay-per-view deadline. We got the Saturday night's main event. We got, like I said, the AEW event, World's End. So lots to do in December. But check out Huge Pop. And Jimmy, you got any shows that you're going to signing autographs or anything like that?
Nothing planned until the new year yet, but you never know. Around the Toronto area, I might pop up here and there,
All right. So we're going to talk in December, but for the fans in the States watching and listening to this, Hopefully you're having a great Thanksgiving and enjoy the Survivor Series. Thanks a lot, Jimmy.
No problem, buddy.